What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about things that British people love. Today, I want to learn about when British people wake up in the morning. What makes you just go, I'm British and I love what? What is it exactly? So today we have a video that we're gonna watch called 22 Things That British People Love. And I'm sure this is gonna have like the obvious stuff, like tea, which would be appropriate because I'm pretty sure British people do genuinely love tea. But I also am hoping this kind of scratches below the surface a little bit. Kind of teaches me some things Brits love that I didn't know about before. That would be very, very interesting to me. But either way, this sounds very fascinating. So let's take a look. Things that British people just love.
This is 22 things that Brits love.
Okay.
Meal deals. British food isn't one of the world's great
Whoa. Okay, we're just diving right into it. Meal deals? Is it like a deal? You love deals, or is this a specific thing? This is like, I think this is something Brits get at like gas stations or petrol stations or convenience stores. I think I vaguely heard of this. This is a very British thing. Do Brits really love this? Is it about saving money, or is it just that you're saving money and getting like what? A drink, a sandwich, and like a protein bar or something? It's very interesting because I'm familiar with the concept of like a bundle deal, but we don't really have this in the United States for some reason. I think it would actually be pretty popular. I guess this is very popular in Britain.
Fair enough, I get that. And all our best food is beige. Crisps, sandwiches, sausage rolls. But one thing we love is a lunchtime meal deal. Beige food at a cheap price.
Okay, beige. Decent food at a cheap price. See, this is the difference. In America, you would be very, very skeptical of buying a sandwich like this from like a gas station or convenience store. That's usually a red flag. You don't want to do it. But it sounds like British people are more than happy to get sandwiches, which is great. They're probably made with a bit more love and care in Britain, to be honest.
Come on, that's the British dream. Go to any supermarket and you can get a main, a snack, and a drink for under a fiver.
Supermarket? So you go to the supermarket just to get, like, your lunch? That's interesting. Okay.
Most office workers in the UK are fueled by a sandwich, a packet of crisps, and a fizzy drink.
Okay.
This isn't gourmet stuff, but we love it. And you might learn to love it too.
He makes it sound like Britain is running on meal deals, basically. Maybe it is.
Queuing. Queuing is a national sport over here. If it was an Olympic event, we'd win gold, silver, and bronze.
Yes, the queuing. This is not the first time I've heard of the queuing going on in Britain from a video I've watched on YouTube. Funny enough, most Americans don't know how obsessed with queuing Britain is, and obsessed in the best way possible. Here, we call it waiting in line, and we're terrible at it. And it's annoying, quite honestly. So I love that British people love queuing. I think that is a green flag. That is a great sign. And God, I wish we could learn a thing or two here in America about queuing. Oh my goodness.
Sometimes we don't even know what we're queuing for. Look, it's bonkers. It is bonkers. Occasionally, I like to just join a queue just to see where it goes. I think it's...
What is it like about Britain? Like, why are British people so good at queuing? What does that mean philosophically or psychologically? Like, British people are just more reasonable, more empathetic, like more respectful? Like, as a culture, maybe? And Americans are just like chaotic, I tell you. Oh my God.
It speaks to the British love of order and fairness.
Okay.
And there is nothing that angers a Brit more than a queue jumper. Queue jumpers are the worst.
Yeah.
We even have invisible queues. Wait, what? How does that work? I'll tell you more about that when we discuss Britain's love of a pub.
Invisible cues. What? Okay, let's keep going. Yes. Oh, Sir David Attenborough, who I actually did an entire video on once. I used to not know who he was or what he did or why he was famous. But now I get it. I get it now. I had to learn about him.
Number 3, Sir David Attenborough.
Okay.
He is a national treasure. He's
Right.
the nation's grandfather, having been the voice and the face of the BBC's natural history programming for 50 years or more.
Right. The natural history and some of the clips I saw of him, like actually out in wilderness doing things. Like there's one where like he's becoming part of a pack, a family of apes or something, or monkeys, where he's like being like having a hug with them. Some really funny, like crazy stuff he's actually done. Seems like an amazing human.
Generations of Brits have learnt all about the natural world through his shows.
Right.
Like Planet Earth, Blue Planet, and so many others. And he continues to raise awareness about climate and environmental issues, even into his late 90s.
Wow, 90s. As an American, I just like have heard his name and thought he was a narrator, and that was it. So I'm actually glad I went through the process of learning about. He's done so much, actually.
I'll tell you this, at least once a week, I make sure that I express a little gratitude to the universe that we still have him in our lives.
Ah.
Number 4, talking about the weather. You knew this one already, didn't you? Now, I know...
Brits love talking about the weather? You get excited for your day, that you're going to get to talk about the weather? What is this?
Lots of cultures do, but for us, there are 2 main reasons. Firstly, we use it as a conversational crutch to lean on when chatting to people, whether we know them or they're strangers. It's an easy way.
A conversation? Yeah. I mean, it's like small talk. Here in America, gosh, talking about the weather is like almost forbidden because it's considered the most like low effort, almost cliche thing to bring up. Like, how about that weather? You know, like that just means, oh man, you're in trouble if you're bringing up the weather. Things are not going well. But in Britain, it sounds like it's more, I don't know, acceptable. Like it's fine. Maybe even a comfort to talk about it. Okay, that's fine. Okay, cool.
Way to make conversation with someone. You make an observation about the weather, and you've avoided that awkward silence that nobody wants, right?
Yeah.
Secondly, the weather in the UK is madness. Honestly, it's madness.
So maybe in the UK, like it's a little more justifiable to talk about the weather because there's actually interesting, crazy stuff happening where you're being genuine. You're like, how about that weather? And it's not just to like fill awkward spaces. It's because you're being genuine because it's crazy weather. Okay, oh that makes sense.
Constantly changing and keeping you on your toes. 1 minute it's raining cats and dogs. The next minute it's sunshine and rainbows. So it's a constant source of surprise and interest for us.
Okay.
Now one thing it isn't
Fair enough.
is predictable. And that keeps us entertained. Number 5, odd flavoured crisps.
Odd flavored crisps, or what we would call chips in America. What are these? Tingly? More tingly than ever. Skips. Monster Munch. Discos? Salt and vinegar. Squares? Palm Bear. Yeah, I have. These are weird.
Now crisps are very dear to my heart. I bloody love them. I could, and probably should, have a whole YouTube channel dedicated to discussing crisps. It's a good idea, actually. So I feel well positioned to admit that yes, we Brits do love some ridiculous flavours.
I'm looking at the picture there, and it also says like prawn cocktail flavored. Do Brits actually enjoy strange, odd flavored crisps? Or in Britain, would these flavors be normal? They wouldn't even be considered odd? Or are they considered odd? And Brits love... It's kind of like a paradox in a way.
Take prawn cocktail, a popular seafood starter from the 1970s. It's one of our favourite flavours.
That makes no sense to me. How did this happen? And Walkers, that's like our version of Lay's, I think. prawn cocktail. I've never even seen a regular prawn cocktail in real life, let alone a crisp flavored prawn cocktail. This is actually like popular in Britain. Wow.
It comes in a pink bag, tastes delicious. You got to try it. What about salt and vinegar? It's an absolute classic, as is cheese and onion.
Cheese and onion. Salt and vinegar, strangely enough, we have that here in America. I've always thought it was a little weird, though. It's not the most popular. Cheese and onion. We we don't have cheese and onion, but we have like cheddar cheese and sour cream, or cheese and bacon. Like, okay, when I really think about it and get a little introspective, we probably have some stuff that's weird here, from people on the outside looking at us. So maybe I should be a little more open-minded with the cheese and onion and the prawn cocktail.
How are these sounding to you? All right, yeah, weird. I know, all right. What about crispy bacon, pickled onion, or haggis and cracked black pepper? That one's just in Scotland. And do you know what? That's not including the Christmas specials that we have, like pigs in blankets, turkey and stuffing.
Turkey and stuffing flavored crisps? Turkey flavored crisps?
It's not including the Christmas specials that we have, like pigs in blankets, turkey and stuffing. Yeah, I could go on.
Really?
We like them weird and wonderful. And I like to give...
I mean, it sounds fun. It's fun to try weird crisps. But I don't find myself doing it that often, or most Americans, I don't really think. Do Brits go out of their way to get the odd, strange flavored crisps? Or again, are these just normal in Britain? They wouldn't even be considered odd, I think, right?
Give a special shout out to barbecue beef hula hoops, a true British classic.
Okay.
Sporting rivalries. The UK is a sports crazy nation. Football is top dog, but we also love rugby, cricket, tennis, darts.
That's so funny, because America is filled with a lot of sports rivalries, but the sports we care about are totally different to the sports that Brits care about. That is so funny. Like, couldn't be more different. He said what? Football, cricket, rugby? None of those are like that popular in America. Football is a little popular, but here it's just like baseball, basketball, football. Like, that's the top. So it's funny how different we are, but we're also similar because we're both obsessed with sports and sports rivalries. I think we can kind of bond on that.
Boxing, I could go on. Now, I think the thing that draws people to sport is the rivalries that have developed over time.
Yes.
We love a good sporting narrative, like the underdog versus the established star, or the redemption of a fallen hero. Now, what are the biggest sporting...
Yeah. People, I mean, in all honesty, I think people like genuinely enjoy getting worked up. Maybe even getting a little mad at sports and rivalries and winning and losing, and that's like part of the fun.
Rivalries in the UK. Well, in football, there's no bigger derby than the Old Firm derby between Celtic and Rangers, the two huge Glasgow football teams.
Okay.
In England, there are lots of derbies, but I would say the biggest one is probably Liverpool versus Manchester United.
Okay, I don't know anything about these rivalries. I've heard some of these names, but I don't know anything about this.
But every city or region has its own version. So you've got like Newcastle and Sunderland, or Cardiff and Swansea, etc.
Okay.
In terms of international games, when Scotland and England play, it's always a bit spicy. And for England, games against Germany have that little added meaning. In rugby, we have the Six Nations tournament, which is England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, France, and Italy. And they all play each other. Now, each game has a special status.
Oh, that's interesting. He's right. There's like within the UK and cities within the UK, there's rivalries. And then there's like the national rivalries between countries and stuff.
But again, I think that England-Scotland match is a big one. In cricketing terms, there is no bigger game than England versus Australia in the Ashes.
Oh.
And invariably, Australia seem to win. Number 7, pubs. In many societies, people socialise around food.
Pubs. pubs. This is a good list. I think these are all nailed. Some of these I have not really thought about, but as soon as he says it, I'm thinking he's absolutely right. Things that British people love, pubs for sure. And pubs are just this magical British phenomenon that I have tried to learn about. I used to think they were like American bars, but they're completely different, honestly.
In the UK, we do it around alcohol, and it usually takes place in a pub. This is where
Right.
Brits meet after work, for dates, for someone's birthday, to celebrate or commiserate, or simply to get away from the cold for a few hours.
Right, right. It can be, you can go to a pub for a special occasion or just to hang out. I think, like, you can even bring your children sometimes or your dog, even, like, it's just totally different from what I think of as an American bar. The atmosphere and the culture around it. It's almost like a family at the pub. Like, you kind of, you get comfortable there. You get to know people maybe even there.
Now, if you come to the UK, you've got to visit them, but there are a few rules that you need to follow. For example, the invisible queue that I mentioned earlier. Now, they
Right.
serve drinks at the bar, but there's no formal line. So, you simply have to stand there and have a look, check to see who's in front of you, and then wait your turn. Now, remember, there's nothing worse than a queue jumper.
Oh my gosh. See, this would never work in the United States. Never. In the US, like, sometimes you'll find a friendly person who's like, "Oh, were you here first?" Most of the time, it's like, you gotta be a little aggressive. You gotta be a little assertive to get yourself to, like, when it's your turn at the bar, you gotta make it known. You can't count on the goodwill of other patrons, unfortunately.
Now, whilst we're on pubs, let's do number 9, the pub quizzes. Brits love a pub quiz night.
Oh, pub quizzes. I've never heard of this before, but this is like trivia. Like if a restaurant or a bar in America had a trivia night. I mean, people enjoy trivia. Are pub quizzes like Brits love them? This is honestly an aspect of pub culture I didn't even know about. Pub quizzes sounds quite fun, honestly.
There are evenings where a pub will organise a formal quiz, usually general knowledge, for
Okay.
customers.
Okay.
And they offer prizes, and it's a lot of fun. Now,
Okay. I mean, this exists in America as well. It would just be called trivia night or something.
they
Okay.
can be informal affairs, or they can be taken very, very seriously. Depends on the pub. People gather in teams. They choose witty team names like I'm Smartacus or Agatha Christie. Yeah, and compete
Wow.
for glory. So if
Okay.
you're in the UK,
That's
go
fun.
to your local pub, ask the owners if they have a pub quiz, get a little team together
I just didn't know it had a name like that. A pub quiz. Okay.
and have some fun. Number 10, saying sorry all the time. Okay. Yeah, this
Oh.
is a thing.
This is saying sorry. This is interesting because it's like, are Brits very, like, just overly respectful and empathetic? Again, is it somehow related to how Brits respect the queue and the queuing? Brits also say sorry. Because British people, like, Americans don't view British people as, like, saying sorry all the time, funny enough. We view British people as, kind of fancy, good manners, respectful, but not necessarily saying sorry. So this is interesting.
Brits love to say sorry at every possible occasion they can.
Okay.
Especially if there's no reason to apologise. So let's say someone bumps into
Okay.
you say sorry. If someone stands on the wrong side of the escalator, you say sorry. If someone's coming
Oh, you say sorry, especially when there's no real reason to do it. That's funny.
in the door and you're trying to exit, you say sorry.
Okay.
Now, I don't know why. I think we're genetically designed to apologise
Okay.
at least 5 times a day.
Okay, so it's not even like you're really, really sorry for something. It's just to be polite. It's just manners. It's almost like saying, excuse me. Like, oh, sorry. Like, it's not a huge thing. Whereas here in America, you'd be hard pressed to have someone say sorry to you. To have an American apologize to you, they've really done something bad. If we're saying sorry.
I love this one. Cheering when someone smashes a glass in a pub. Honestly, there are a few sounds.
That's funny. Is this a common? This is just another part of British pub culture? Cheering. I like that as a response. Everyone just knows to cheer. It kind of defuses the tension and turns it into a joke. I like that. Because here in America, whenever someone drops a drink or breaks a glass or a plate, the room goes dead silent. That's what happens in America. It goes dead quiet. Sometimes someone screams, like out of surprise. It's kind of over dramatic here, to be perfectly honest. So I like this approach.
Sounds more British than the celebratory way just after someone's dropped a glass.
Oh, it's not just cheering. It's a specific word. Way. What? What does that mean? What does way mean? Way. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay.
In a pub or a bar. There's this sort of childlike glee in the
Yeah.
idiocy or clumsiness of someone else that brings Brits so much joy.
Okay.
It's not meant to be mean. It's just a moment of comedy that we can all share together. So next time you're in a pub and someone smashes a glass, give it a bit of a way.
That's funny. I hope he's not joking and that I just make a fool of myself. People actually do this, and it's just as like a fun thing. I like it. I actually like that. It's a lot better than what we do here, which is we kind of make it awkward for no reason. That's funny. I think we're only like halfway through this video, and we've been going on here for a while, so I think I'm gonna stop here for now and continue the rest of this in part 2. So I've actually enjoyed this quite a bit, and I'm learning some new things about Britain and British culture, which is fantastic. Things that Brits love, which I'm really coming around on a lot of these things. I think I get it. I didn't understand some of the crisps flavors. That was a little weird, but on the whole, this is quite fun. So anyway, if you've enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in part 2 of this video, or just more videos like this in general, me reacting to Britain and British culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.